We communicate, we build relations. We communicate, we get our work done. We communicate to expand our business. We communicate to maintain our relationship. Everywhere it is all about communication. The way you communicate, communication brings strong relationship, and communication can end the relations also. So in the last session, we have discussed about the different types of communication. That was verbal communication, which we have discussed in the last session. So before going to the next, that is non-verbal communication. Yeah, before going to the non-verbal communication, the indicators of non-verbal communication, we'll quickly see what are the types of communication which we discussed. So in verbal communication, we have discussed about two types, oral and written. So as we all know, oral word says the things which we speak. So if I'm not wrong, maximum of the part we are speaking only. So we are communicating. Either we are communicating to ourselves, we are communicating to others, we are communicating in the organization, we are communicating at home, we are communicating even while traveling also. So everywhere, at every point of time, we are communicating. And when it is related to business, when we talk about business communication, it is very important to understand what exactly business communication is and how important it is for a business to communicate effectively. You know, we get clients, we make our business grow. Everything is possible just by the way we communicate with each other. So in verbal communication, we have discussed about oral, where we have discussed that 45% in oral communication is all about listening. Then we went to the written communication, and written is basically a formal type of communication. The difference between oral and written is, for written communication, we will have the evidence of the communication which is done. But for oral communication, we do not have any written proof. So that was the oral communication. Now coming to the non-verbal communication, we have lot of non-verbal communication which we use in our day-to-day life. The first type of but basically what exactly non-verbal communication is? Non-verbal communication is all about the use of gestures, use of body language, use of tone, use of postures. All these things together make us communicate using a nonverbal communication. So it includes the voice of tone, your facial expressions, your posture, use of space, hand gestures, and full body movement. And good communication in the organization matters a lot. The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. Now, non-verbal communication is not about the words you are speaking. It is all about hearing the things which are not being said. Hearing the things, understanding the things which no one spoke, and that is all about non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication forms a social language that in many ways richer than the fundamental words which we speak. This non-verbal language effect leaves an everlasting effect on the mind of the receiver, which the spoken words may at times cannot leave. So now talking about the types of non-verbal language, the first type of non-verbal language is body language, then the paralanguage, space, surroundings, and silence. So here we'll be talking about the first thing, that is kinetics. The study of body language starts from a part of non-verbal communication. Yes, the study of your body language. Even in the interview, the first thing which the interviewer check is your body language. On basis of the body language, somewhere he has already made up his mind whether he's going to hire you or not. Obviously, knowledge skills are equally important, but along with that, the body movement, the body language plays a very important role. It is an internal part of the communication. You cannot separate words from your mouth, you cannot separate salt from the yummy dish. Same way, you cannot separate non-verbal form of communication as an internal part of the communication. Even if you are going with the oral mode of communication, your body, your non-verbal communication is carrying along with you. Whatever you speak, just look at me and try to observe that why I'm saying that even in the oral communication, non-verbal communication is there. Just look at me. I'm just reading out the sentences right in front of me. Okay. A receiver is supposed to observe non-verbal communication 55 of the time. Our body consciously as well as unconsciously conveys message, moods, attitude in the same way as language use set of symbols to convey the meaning. How much you have understood? I didn't use non-verbal language. Here I'll say I have not used non-verbal language. How was that? Did you understand what I spoke? Did you got the context of the meaning? Did you understood the meaning? No, because there was no use of body language. Just I was reading, speaking the words, and without pauses, intonation, stress, use of body language, gestures, postures, eye contact, understanding the real context of the message is very difficult. So, as you know that when I'm saying that it is an internal part of the communication, then yes, non-verbal communication is the internal part of the communication. More than 55% of your message is communicated using non-verbal language. Whenever you are communicating, whenever you are talking, the non-verbal communication plays a very strong role. People not just understand the words they are saying, but they also understand the body language you are using. Our body consciously as well as unconsciously conveys message, moods, attitudes, etc. in the same way as language uses set of symbols to convey the meaning. Whenever we are speaking, by default, some expressions, movements, gestures, mood swings, everything will be shown on your face. At times we use this thing. Whenever we are going to approach the boss, we are going to talk to the boss. We go there and we just see their mood. We see how the person is behaving, how is his mood. If we think by his body language that he is not in a good mood, our manager is not in a good mood, and we have approached him for approval of the leaves, you will just turn back and come back to your place. You will simply wait for the time when you'll see by his body language, his attitude, that he is in a good mood. So that is how this body language works. Even at home, whenever we want to ask something, whenever we want to know something, we simply check the mood of our parents by studying their body language. And once we study their body language, once we go through their body language, then finally we decide that whether we are going to communicate to that person or not. So our body consciously as well as unconsciously conveys the message, moods, our attitude in the same way, how the word conveys the message. So, even if we are sitting at one place, then also our body keeps on sending the messages. Our body never stops from sending the message. It will continue sending the message. If a person is just sitting still and quiet, even from his body language, his face, you will get to know whether he is happy, he is sad, he is thinking something. So that is the use of body movements. Now, in this, the first thing which comes is facial expressions. The face is the mirror of the mind. Yes, honestly speaking, the face speaks whatever is running in your mind. So basically, your face is the mirror of your mind, which shows whatever is running in your mind. The face can convey energy, anger, grief, sincerity, and a host of other feelings and emotions. There are lot and lot of different feelings. Like we go through, even if we talk about just one day, in just one day, we go through many different feelings, many different emotions. And what are they? Emotions as in we are happy, we are sad, we are angry, we show anger, we are excited, we are surprised. So our face shows all those emotions. A smile means friendliness, while a frown means anger. So while seeing a smile, you'll say, yes, the smile means friendliness. But if you see a frown, you'll say, no, this means anger. A creased forehead shows worry. Creased forehead means when you have these lines, that shows that you are worrying. A raised eyebrow shows surprise. It is very important to exercise a check and control over our feeling. You should be aware about some of the common facial expression which have some meanings, so that your face, your non-verbal communication doesn't go against you. Let's say we are saying something and you are having crease, so it will show the person that why you are worrying. It's just a normal conversation going on, we have still not cracked the deal, so what are you worrying for? So those things you should work on when you are going for the any kind of professional meet. It is very important that you are aware about the non-verbal communication, in which the first is facial expression. Second comes is gestures. This, 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 this. So many gestures we use. Gestures is basically the movement of the hand. So gestures are small body movements that transmit some message. So many times, instead of saying the word, we just focus on using the gestures. Let's say a person is going out for the interview. Instead of saying all the best, you simply use this gesture saying, okay, all the best. For victory, you use the sign. For the thing, let's say thing is very awesome, very delicious, you just use this gesture. If someone did a great task, great job, you keep it up. If you want to punch someone, you're getting very angry, you can show this gesture. So there are a lot of gestures which we can use to communicate our non-verbal signs. Let's say now someone is continuously speaking, you're getting irritated. You can simply use this means stop right there. Say waving the hand, it can be a sign of hi, hello, bye. Then we in our day-to-day life, we keep on using, even with the words. Sometimes it is some gestures will automatically come. Let's say when we are saying bye, and so by our hand will automatically go up and show the gesture. So that is how gestures, though, are the small body movements, but they transmit some message. Some gestures may be conscious while others may be involuntary. So some gestures, they are something which just comes. There is no control on that, and some are voluntary, some we use intentionally, we use by our own wish. Some gestures have an almost universal meaning, such as handshake for a no, or a handshake as a hello. So they have some common universal meaning. So whenever you use those gestures, whenever you show those gestures, the person will automatically understand. Gestures are the part of body language because our head hands tend to communicate by themselves in their own way. Sitting in the, let's say, sitting in a meeting and you have to say yes or no. You simply nod your head, you simply nod this way. So these are again the gestures. Gestures is not just only about the hand movements, it is also about the head movements also. So can you tell me, what are the different types of gestures we use in our day-to-day life? Gestures which we use in our day-to-day life. We do use the gestures, every time. Let's say for listening, we use this tiny small bit. Then for hello, we use handshake. For thinking, we use this gesture. So there are lot of gestures which we keep on using in our day-to-day life, and those form a very important part in communicating our messages. We use this, we use this, we use this, we use this, we use, even want to sleep, we use this. So many things are communicated by non-verbal form, that is by using gestures and postures. The most important part of non-verbal communication, it is something which doesn't require you to speak long sentences. Just you, by using one simple gesture, you can convey your entire meaning. That is the power of using the gestures. Gestures are the part of the body because our head and hands tend to communicate by themselves. Postures. This comes as the posture. Can you see two difference? I have used a picture. Which posture do you think is best? In the one, the lady is standing straight, or the one where she's just leaning backward and coming forward? She's standing in a very in a position where it shows that she's very dull. Again, how we got to know? She didn't came and tell me that I am dull. It is by studying her body language we came to know that yes, she is feeling dull, she is standing dull, and these postures are not at all acceptable when you go for the interview in the organization. For the business conferences, for the direct client dealing, you have to work a lot on your postures and gestures. Posture is the position adopted by the body. Many times, even in the interview, when we are sitting, we are leaning like this. We are just leaning on one side, on other side. These are not the right postures to be used whenever you are at a business place, whenever you are out for a business meeting, whenever you are out to meet a client, whenever you are presenting yourself, whenever you are going for the interview as a candidate or as an interviewer, you need to make sure that you carry the right posture with you, because a wrong posture can create negative impact, negative image in the mind of the people who are observing your posture. By your posture, it will communicate to them whether you are happy, whether you are attentively listening, whether you are ignoring. So all these things, they come to know by studying your posture only. Each movement or position of the body has expressive or defensive function. Each movement, each and every movement of your body will express something or will defend. Posture concerns the overall bearing of the body. It includes angle of inclination and the position of the arms and the legs also. So everything, each and every part of your body communicate non-verbally giving message to the other person. A raised head indicates openness, while a tilted head indicates curiosity. A head like this shows you are ashamed or you are lying. Your head continuously moving here and there while you are speaking shows that you are distracted. You are not interested in listening to whatever is happening. So posture acquire meaning in association with other symbols and in the context of communication. So it is directly related to what you are speaking and how you are presenting. So a wrong posture can mislead the listener that what exactly you wanted to say. So make sure the posture works as per your body language. Posture gives you the right context and the right direction to your message. Next comes is the clothes. Clothes play an important role in enhancing his personality. So in the personality, we know that clothes are the thing by which we decide about the person, by which we decide about the personality of the person without talking to that. The first impression is created by your body language, along with that, how you are dressed up. So it is said that whenever you are going out, you need to dress up properly as per the occasion. Let's say you are going for a marriage party and you are dressed up in a very formal attire. Will that look good? No. You are going for the interview and you are wearing formals, but instead of shoes, you prefer wearing slippers. How will this look? Clothes should be perfect, and it is the overall impression, it is the overall thing which it is going to show about the person's personality, and so it plays a very important role in enhancing his personality. It is vital for one to look professional and efficient. It is very important that a person should look professional and efficient also. Accessories also play a major role in non-verbal communication. Each and everything which you are carrying, which you are having with yourself is very, very, very important and is a form of non-verbal communication. Clothes and accessories related to physical as well as social culture characteristics. Every occasion we have a different look, we carry a different look, we wear different kind of accessories. So everything has its own meaning, has its own different message which the other person will be getting by seeing your appearance. It is very important that you work on your body language also, where it is a combination of facial expression, postures, body movements, and your clothes. The last thing under this is eye contact. Sorry, not last, second last is eye contact. At times we just forget to make eye contact. We are talking to the person, but we are trying to escape from that person. We just try to avoid doing eye contact with that person, and that creates a very negative image of you. The person who is speaking the truth will never take away his eyes. The person who is honest, the person who is confident, the person who is motivated will always have the guts to look into your eyes and talk to you. But there are some persons who maybe they are afraid, they are fearful. That is again some of the reason due to which people avoid doing eye contact. So eyes are the windows of the soul. As we said that face is the mirror of the mind, eyes are the windows of the soul. Through eye contact, the speaker gets signals whether the channel of communication is open or not. If you're trying to escape your eyes, it will show that you are not interested in communicating, or you are feeling bored, you are distracted, you are diverted, though you are present physically, but mentally you are present somewhere else. All these things are shown by your eye contact. So through eye contact, the speaker get the signals of your attention. The speaker get the signal of how attentive you are in doing your work. So a long and a fixed gaze shows interest depending on your feelings. We have smiling eyes, anger eyes, painful eyes, evasive eyes, and so on. So as the face speaks, same way, all the messages, all those things are conveyed by your eye contact also. Our eyes speaks a lot about how we are paying attention. Are we afraid? Are we angry? Are we frustrated? Are we having envy? As we the curiosity of knowing, what is happening? All these things are shown by the movement of these eyes. It looks very strange that how these small eyes, which do not have mouth, which do not have head, but still they speak a lot. You'll be even shocked to see that in this, our mere silence, that also speaks a lot when we are talking about non-verbal communication. And in kinesics communication, that is the first type of communication, our silence also speaks a lot. What do you think? What does the silence speaks? Silence speaks louder than word. Though the person looks to be very quiet, very silent, but you do not know that he is speaking a lot. How is speaking? Let's take a situation where the situation is burning out. People are very, very angry. They are blaming, you are blaming the other person, and other person just stays quiet. You know what he's saying? It's useless to talk to you. Or he's simply trying to make you realize that I am not interested. You're simply wasting your time talking to me. So that is how silence is the most powerful tool which can speak everything about you, and that even louder than words. The silence speaks so much that it leaves such a bad impression, such a bad impact on other person's mind, which your spoken words couldn't have left. So silence speaks better and louder than your words. You will come across many people, who have gone through bad day. People shouted, but they never reacted. They stayed quiet, and their quietness, their silence, that is killing the other person. The other person is getting frustrated that why he's not speaking, why he's not reverting back. And that is the power of silence. Believe me, silence is something in which, without even speaking a word, you can make other person realize everything, whatever is running in your mind. It lays down the relationship between communicator and their attitude towards each other. It lays down that relationship. It tells about the relationship and the attitude the person carries towards each other. Silence shows the inability to converse further. It shows that no, there is nothing left for us to communicate with each other. It is the end, and we don't have anything on which we can talk, for which we can communicate. So it shows the inability to converse further. It shows the inability that it's a full stop to our discussion, to our communication. Because here you might recall that quotation which says, things goes a long way if both the people speak. If one person is quiet how long a person, only one person can speak without getting any reaction, action, reaction, anything in return. If we do not get anything in return, then yes, our silence is something which will create blunder and which will end up everything. It will clearly indicate saying that there is nothing left to discuss between us. A student who has not done his homework will stay mum when the teacher asks him for it, saying that I am not done, please don't ask me. So that is how your silence even communicate. We are aware about all those things, but it is very difficult to train you about those things. Being silent in the wrong place can also communicate a wrong message. As in, you are sitting in a meeting and people just want your views whether the assignment, the project they are taking is good or not, and you are simply being quiet. That can communicate that yes, you are in favor of that. So every time being quiet is not good, because your silence, even if you are silent after some time, if the project fails and you come up and say that I never said yes, no one is listening. No one is going to listen to you, because silence is merely again acceptance which you have given for the discussion which was going on. So with this, we have completed the first type of nonverbal communication. Next type of nonverbal communication is through body language. Body language stands for the way the body communicates without words and through the movements of its part. So body is communicating without using any kinds of word. It is just communicating using the movements of the parts of the body. The nodding of our head, blinking of our eyes, waving our hand, shrugging our shoulders are expressive of our thoughts and feelings. All these things by default will express everything about your thoughts, about your feelings. These things doesn't require your spoken words to communicate with each other. You might have seen many people who are just communicating with each other in a large gathering without speaking a word. That is by their body language. They just move their eyes, they just move their head, they just wave their hand, and they communicate everything. And even person doesn't understand what they are communicating, what communication, what message they have sent to each other. That is the power of nonverbal communication. By practice, you can master yourself in nonverbal communication, and believe me, it is the best way. When verbal communication combines with non-verbal communication, it gives your message a very good look. People take that thing very seriously when your body is also communicating the same thing which your words are communicating. There will be no scope of misunderstanding. All these movements are the signals that our body sends out to communicate. So these are the signals which our body is sending to communicate with each other. So for this also, our mind, our body send signals that how you are going to react. As soon as you see someone, the body sends the signals. Instead of saying hi, just wave the hand. When you agree with something, instead of saying yes, your body just sends the signal and say yes. So that is how your body sends the signals to communicate with each other. Just as language uses set of symbols to convey meaning, our body consciously as well as unconsciously convey message, attitude, moods, and status, relationship, etc. All these things, either consciously or unconsciously, our body continuously sends the signals and conveys the message to each other. It has been observed that we may play fast and loose with words, but our body speaks about the truth. And that is why we say in the interview, the person, the interviewer, take care of the body language you are using to know whether you are speaking truth about yourself or not. Whatever you are speaking is whatever you feel, or it is just the words which you are collecting and speaking. If you are speaking something which actually have not happened, which is not actually true, your body will send negative response. The body will not react, will not act according to the words you are speaking, because that is what you are just framing. So, for being a better communicator, for being an effective communicator, it is important that your body sends the signals which are the proof of the words you are speaking, which supports your word. The signals, your body language, facial expressions, your voice tone, your eye contact, your silence, everything should support the words which you are speaking from your mouth. The oral communication, the oral form of communication should be communicated with by your body language also, and then only the sender, the receiver, is going to understand the right context of the message without any kind of misunderstanding. This, we have completed two types of non-verbal communication. Now in the next session we will be discussing about the third type of communication, that is para language. Till here, if you have any doubt related to the things we have discussed, please clarify. No doubts? Okay. If there are no doubts, we are good to wind the session. We'll have the next session today at 4 o'clock. We have two sessions lined up for the day. That is one at 4 o'clock and the other session is at 4:50. The 4 o'clock session is of group discussion and next will be of entrepreneurship. Okay.